Hello everybody and welcome to this tutorial how to custom design kitchen cabinets with Shaper 3D. This is a two-part lecture series. In part 1, we will focus on developing a master cabinet. Let's start with a new file. First, we would like to make sure millimeters is set as our unit system and all our snap targets are turned on. Very good. Then we can go to the top view, zoom out a little bit, and we will start putting down only the necessary sketches for modeling the master cabinet piece, because the shop drawings later, which we will create then actually through the drawing module. So I will draw here a line, and then I draw a vertical line. This vertical line you see is aligned along the y-axis. I will lock it. This is actually my mirror axis. And I drew this line right on the midpoint. Let me actually do this a little bit crooked. So there you see it snaps to the midpoint. Now I lock this point and set this to be horizontal vertical and horizontal vertical. And this now I will snap to there, that axis. And I can lock this point. Very nice. This way, you see now when I move this point left and right, the other point moves with it. This line has to be 500 millimeters. Very good. In my workflow, I prefer have actually auto constraint turned off. I will add all the constraints by hand. Feel free to keep this turned on. Then here I draw a line down, draw a line horizontal, draw a line up, select all three lines, horizontal, vertical. Very good. This should be 16 millimeters. And then this, that's basically the cabinet depth, 535. Very nice. Cool. I'm not going to draw everything on the right side because I will later mirror the body actually over. Very good. Okay. Now I can draw here another line. This is actually for the toe kick. Horizontal. And then these two should be 70 millimeters apart. Very good. Okay. So that's nice. A little preview. So later we can extrude the sideboard up, and then to cut the toe kick, there we extrude another time in and cut it out. Very good. So let's remove everything. And we will actually now add a detail for the back wall. So the back wall is a particular type of material. It's very dense and can be 3 millimeters thick. Doesn't need to be more and can be strong enough. And also that board will actually straighten really the cabinet. So somewhere I will draw few lines again. I will set all those to be horizontal vertical. This I will set to 6. This I will set to 3 millimeter. And then the distance here, this I will set to 20 millimeters. Very good. Okay, very nice. So this is a gap where a board will grow into. Actually draw everything for that board there. Select all these lines, horizontal, vertical. So then can't move this up, but I can move this over. Here's a little trick. This line and this line, I would like to look at each other. Select the tangent constraint. Very nice, no? So if we set this to 400, you see how everything adjusts. Very good. Okay, nice. So let's actually build our first part here. Now I select only this plus this. And then we will extrude this up 820 millimeters. Very nice. And toe kick 10 centimeters, 100 millimeters. Okay. Very good. Now the back wall here, we can extrude exactly the same height for the moment. 820. Very good. So how do we actually get everything to the other side? Super easy. Double tap, then more, mirror, and I zoom in, and with the pencil, tap on this face. You see there is the mirror axis. And then these two I will join together. Cool. Okay. Very nice. Now we need to actually find or create something that's kind of like a cover, and then we have to put in also a board and shelves. So we will actually turn off everything here for the moment. And I will draw myself here a line. Again, this line horizontal, and then I will make this line tangent to there. Very good. This should be 16 millimeters. There we are. Line and line, both horizontal. And when this should be kind of like where the toe kick starts, then let's connect it to there. Very good. Okay, nice. So we extruded the toe kick up 10 centimeters, so 100 millimeters. Do the same here. Then let's do a mirror. There we are. And join. You see, fits perfectly. Pretty cool. So from this object, I can actually create now also my first shelf. I will double tap it, make a copy, and just rotate it 90 degrees. Turn copy off, move this to here. Very good. So now I would like this to perfectly line up. And let me show you a nice trick. So I go to here, double tap, then I will go to translate and then drag this corner to that corner. And there we are. Good. This side I will hide. Now this face I would like to drag till it gets close to there. To do this really nice and precise, also here we can select this face, more, translate, and now I drag this face to an edge. There you can even see it, this is diagonal. This does not move it diagonal, it actually just moves it onto the face distance-wise. Very nice. Oh, this is actually too far. So there, and translate. You can also go face to face translate. There. Nice and flush. Here later where I'm tipping, we could actually use screws. we want to be cheaper, we can use nails and actually secure the back wall onto this board. Okay, good. On top, later we would like to put a work surface. Right here between these 2 points, we have nothing. We need to stabilize it. Okay, let's build it from this. We move this one up. I see we made a copy. Move this one to here. This actually should be 60 millimeters. There we are. Very good. And then double tap, more, translate, and can snap this to there. Cool. Okay. Because this board is actually perfectly centered, I'll show you another interesting method. So I move this one up, select this edge, then select align and select this edge. And because I selected edges, it positioned them onto each other perfectly centered. Very nice. Cool. Okay. Now we can create a drawer. And here's, for example, the shelf for it. We can keep it flush, or we can also move it further back. And we'll keep this flush. Okay, very nice. I don't really know yet really where this has to go to, but this is just a placeholder. Okay, so I would say at this point, well, we have the toe kick, we have the bottom part, we have the support, we have the back wall left and right, and the shelf. Let's actually work on how we are going to design the door for the lower part and for the drawer. So for this, we will select 2 faces like this. And then we could, for example, add construction plane and put that plane right onto it. When I select this plane and double tap, everything actually moves right to it. So you see we're actually looking right onto that sketch. Or sorry, not sketch. The grid got projected to the construction grid. If we do not want to use a construction grid, we could also select this face and with a finger double tap. And pretty much does the same. So now I could start sketching, but you see when you rotate too much, then it's kind of gone. That's why sometimes I like adding a construction plane. I can select it and double tap, and I can always hide it later if I don't need it. Okay, so the upper door, sorry, the front of the drawer should actually be 130. So when I zoom in a little bit, there we are, I can draw a line down. So 130. Very good. So there we are. And then this would be the lower part. So 590 and 130. Okay. I will select this edge and this edge. Rotate my view a little bit. I will turn on the plane. And when I reselect these edges and then select the plane, I can go to project. Click OK. You might not really see anything that got done. Well, let me show you something. I will select all my bodies here, Alt and drag, put them together, hide them. Look, you see, we projected actually the edges of the geometry onto the sketch that is lined up with this plane. Very nice. So the reason why I did this was, again, you see here is the advantage of the plane. I can select the plane, double tap. I can't do this yet with just 2 lines because I do not form a surface. Here's my drawer. There. Okay. This I can delete. No, I can hide this. If I rotate, you see there's no fill. Double tap on that fill. Okay. So these 2 lines I would like to lock. They should not change. And you should be horizontal and the distance 130. Very nice. For the draw front, 20 millimeters and 20 millimeters. Okay, so that's kind of like our, let's say, our raw part. Now, based on how this opens, is it just a drawer? Is it a door? We need to add a little bit more of clearance. So here, I would like 2 millimeters to go down. So I select the face, go to move, select the arrow pointed up, so -2 millimeters. I can also here select 3, click on the arrow, -2, and it shrinks all 3 at the same time, just to give you an option. And there we are. So this gap is actually also needed when, for example, we have to level out a drawer, because then this front face will actually rotate a little bit. When they're perfectly flush onto each other, that's not very good. Plus, wood is a living material. It might expand, might shrink based on the air moisture. So these 2 we could put into one folder and maybe say doors. In there, this we could call cabinet. Very nice. You see now when we turn everything on and off, it's very easy to see everything. Also here, some housekeeping. Yeah, we can delete this one now because we have this complete sketch there, and then we drag with a finger this into there. Very nice. And we don't really need to see it. So the how could I say that? The position for the drawer is done. So that means we have to maybe move this shelf up a little bit. We would like to have a spacer. If we go to here, appearance, we could say show hidden edges. Very nice. And show the other one. And then move this one up. Because I work with the grid and also work with good units, I know that the way how I positioned it, this is now perfectly centered. Okay, very good. With the position of this board, basically I covered up actually this gap, but I also reduced vertically a little bit of the height of the possible drawer that can go into there. So I can maybe move it and line it up to there, make a copy and move one down to there. Very good. Okay, very nice. So let's make a new folder. And then this folder we call drawer. And this body we will drag to there into the drawer folder. Very good. Okay. This we can turn off again. And now I'm going to show you a very simplistic way how we can build a quick basic drawer. So our cabinet we hide. Actually, I will make a copy of this simply up and then move this one to here. See, I used a different function to move apart. This we can all hide. Very good. And I would like to line up this edge with here. Again, line tool does it. Fantastic. This is possibly a little bit too deep. I make this a tick shorter. Very nice. Very good. When we want to insert hardware left and right, we need to have a gap here. So this is actually good. Now I will do the following. I will select this, make myself a copy. And the way how I model this right now is just only one way. So this edge, I will line up to this edge. There we are. Very good. So I position it to there. And what is this height? This height is 126. Very good. Make this 120. So 6mm smaller. 115. Okay, good. I will select this one, make myself a copy again and rotate it 90 degrees. That is good. So thickness, 3mm. Very nice. Then this edge to this edge, align. Very nice. And this minus 20mm, so 2 centimeters, we move it in. Very good. So this is 16 and we want this part to go 6mm in. That means, okay, we can reduce this by 10mm. So 458. There we are. What was the height? That is 115. So we could do the same here. 115. Very good. Now as a back wall, that actually maybe is too thin. If something really hard rolls against it, it might damage it. Not a big deal. Because we're not sketching, we're still exploring. We can set this to 16. Okay, no problem. And now this edge to here, I will set this to align one more time. Very nice. And I would like this to move back negative 10. Yeah, so 1 centimeter, 10mm of a distance we have there. That's fine. Okay, good. Now the reason why I did this is very simple. From this object, I can remove this one. Double tap each, subtract, And we would like to keep removed bodies. Done. And look at that. It perfectly cut the opening. Very nice. So this one, now I would like to mirror over. Because I started designing everything symmetrically, I just go now to this view from the side, mirror, and with the pencil, tap on the grid. See it on there is the mirror plane. Done. And there we are. Very good. This bottom one is a little bit incorrect. So we have to adjust this. So we go to here. Let's see. We zoom in more. It snaps better. There we are. Very good. Yeah. This does not work. So let's do it this way. Double tap to here. Show everything. And then we will use the translate trick. There. Very good. And translate. There. Look from the top. Now this can actually be a very thin material. Let's make this 5 millimeters. Very nice. And I would like to have this raised 5 millimeters. Very good. 5 is too small. Let's go 1 centimeter. And I need to cut grooves for this board to sit in, because right now, well, we just fall down. So what I will do is I will hide everything and select all these edges. And we will go by 6 millimeter too. Very nice. I use 6 millimeter simply. It's always the same distance. So the person that has to cut those grooves, basically, I make their life a little bit easier. So now I have to select my front and this and cut. Very good. My side, other side, and the back. Very nice. Good. So a little bit of cleanup. There we can see all the grooves. That's actually pretty nice. So this cut is fantastic. This cut is fantastic. Yeah, so I will simply remove this. So later we can move the whole piece across the tool. The base and here the same. Very good. So only from the side of the front there we could see actually this part. Nowhere. I could have kept it, but that would actually make milling out that gap harder. Here I actually could now cut this gap via a table saw. Very good. So the drawer is actually done. So because this is inside one group, I can also move the thing in and out. And ooh, we didn't really fix this. It's colliding. No big problem. Again, thanks to direct modeling. Let's set this to 80. Same here. And here. That's also why I don't spend too much time sketching everything perfectly, because when I design, dimensions, proportions will change. And this way, then I do not have the problem of having to redo the sketches. And you will see in part 2, it doesn't really matter how detailed I make the sketches, because based on the geometry later, we will create the shop drawings. Okay, very nice. So that's pretty good. We have to do some hardware. I go to this view and draw here a line 100. Nice. Then I will go down 10. Okay. I will move in 20, 20, and go down another 20 and 10. Very good. So I have a dimension of 100, 10 thickness, and a distance of 30 from the drawer or door face. Then here I draw some lines. Also a line here and there. Very good. If I want, I could select everything horizontal, vertical, and start constraining everything. Because this is such a simple object, I will skip that step. Now, look at this. There is a filled profile. There's one. And there's one. So profile axis, revolve. Profile axis, revolve. Profile axis, revolve. No, these two have exactly the same diameter, and that's not necessarily ideal. So those I will set to 4. Very good. Then I can double tap, and join them. The ends we will round by 1 millimeter. Also here, 1 millimeter. Very nice. Move this away. Rotate it 90 degrees. Okay, so placement. We will decide it should be 5 centimeters. That means 50 millimeters up or down and to the inside. And for the drawer, should be centered. So I make a copy. And then I will go, yeah, how do we get it to there? So take a look at this. I could go to align. Now I zoom in with the pencil on this face, click and drag. The pencil is still on the screen. And you see there is also a plane. Now with another finger, I will rotate. With 2 fingers, I zoom out. And now I can tell it what face this other face should go onto. And here go to that point. Done. Cool. Do this one more time. Select the face. Align, click and drag, 2 fingers zoom out, 1 finger rotate, there, good. Now I could go and say, good, 50 millimeters to the left and 50 millimeters down. Very nice. Okay. The problem we will have here is we have 2 points. How do we do this? It's the distance actually. So 50, let's go back to our sketch. So from there to there, I draw a line 50. Okay, so this means this is 25. Okay, so that means if I take 1 point, align it to the center of the drawer face, I have to move it either left or right by 25 millimeters. Okay. Just a simple demonstration how you can find calculations or do calculations simply via geometry. I take this face, align, and zoom out. And there's my midpoint. Zack. There. And 25 millimeters. Very good. Double tap. There you see the midpoints. Midpoint of the base of the drawer and 2 midpoints from the circular faces, the cylindrical caps. Very good. Now, where's one drawer? There, doors. This has 2 objects. Oh, it has the sketch. Very good. Well, the sketch maybe we will move out. And this is actually now just door. And this we will drag into door. And then this we will drag into drawer. And we can call this handle hardware, wherever you please. Very good. Can hide all this. And we actually finished the basic construction of a basic cabinet. And in video 2, I will show you how via copy and paste and then direct modeling and adjusting it, we can create multiple variations.